Behavior is more important than intelligence. And we have to remember that all the knowledge in the world will not make us a better investor. And I think the best quote on this page of all, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, sorry for my typos, where moths and vermin destroy, but where thieves break in and steal. Our Lord said that to us. And so we should not do that. Okay, so what role does luck, providence, and risk play? And I put luck / providence. Morgan Housel says luck. I don't know his religious persuasion. But we believe in providence, which is the divine ordering of things for the maximum good that God wishes to obtain for us and for himself. But luck and providence play a absolutely massive role in financial success. And I think this should also lead us towards a place of humility, that we do not sit in judgment of those who have either made financial mistakes or have faced financial ruin. I have made many financial mistakes. I actually lost a home in a foreclosure a very long time ago. Through a series of financial mistakes that I made. And that was when I was a financial advisor. And so for the average person out there with much less knowledge and perhaps maybe more virtue than me at that time, we have to remember that luck and providence have an influence on outcomes. There's a quote here that I thought was really interesting. This is actually a quote from not my favorite person, but certainly someone we should listen to about money sometimes, and that's Bill Gates. He said, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." I think we've all been there. I think we've all been there in different areas of our lives. We just kind of coast and we think, ha, look at me. Nothing could go wrong. And then, of course, it does. And I'm going to tell a story about Bill Gates that is actually told in Morgan Housel's book that I think is really interesting. Lakeside School is actually the school that my mom and dad went to in Seattle. It's also the same school that Bill Gates went to. There was a teacher there named Bill Dougal. This is 1968. In 1968, Bill Dougal was in charge of technology and things like that at the school. And he had this wild idea that the kids should learn about computers. And so he actually went to the Mothers Club, let's say a parents teachers club kind of thing, and said, let's raise some money through a bake sale to buy a teletype Model 30 computer for the kids to use in 8th grade. And Bill Gates happened to be there. He was 13 years old with Paul Allen, his best friend. And they used that computer in that computer lab with another best friend of theirs who you probably haven't heard of, and his name is Kent Evans. So let's look at some statistics. I mean, this is pretty special. I mean, a very expensive computer at a school in 1968 happened to have that computer there with Bill Gates and Paul Allen at the same time. And this was something that you really would only find in laboratories or universities. So I looked at some statistics, and Morgan Housel also has some of these in his book. But at that time, in 1968, there were 303 million high school-aged kids, 1968. 18 million of those kids were in the United States. 270,000 of those kids were in Washington State. About 100,000 of those kids were in the city of Seattle. And about 300 kids of that number, of the 303 million, were at Lakeside. Obvious providence here, I think. It is a 1 in a million chance that Bill Gates and Paul Allen happened to be there with Kent at this school. And they were wizards at computers. In fact, the school was trying to figure out how to arrange all the schedules of all the kids' classes with all the different kids and the permutations of that. And they gave the task to Bill Gates and Kent Evans, his best friend, to complete on a computer. And they did. They actually made a working program. It's the first program, I believe, that Bill Gates ever wrote. And it organized the school schedule. Well, the sad truth is Kent Evans did not go on to be Bill Gates's partner with Paul Allen, and did not go on to be a billionaire with $1 trillion net worth or whatever it is. But Bill Gates did call Kent Evans the smartest kid in the class. Unfortunately, Kent Evans died in a mountaineering accident shortly before he graduated high school. And I looked at the statistics. These are in the book, I believe, as well. There are about 30 mountaineering accidents a year in America. And I say that with a little hesitation as a father. My son is a mountaineer and a spelunker and wears like gear and goes into the caves. Not for me. But it's about a 1 in a million chance that Bill Gates would be at that school. And it was about a 1 in a million chance that Kent Evans would die in a mountaineering accident. And so when we look at other people's success or failure financially, Remember Kent Evans and remember Bill Gates. That yes, their skills and their drive and their personalities and their time and effort and will did result in outcomes, but not for Kent because he had a 1 in a million chance that nothing would work out for him and it didn't. So let's just remember that. Risk works the other way from success sometimes than we want. So we have to avoid hubris, this idea that we've done this ourselves, which can lead us to believe that success is something that we're owed.